And all right, we're live. So sorry about that. I got ready to start everything, and I rebuilt. Well, I built a new computer this last week, and I didn't have all my stuff set up properly. So I came in over here like 15 minutes before everything was ready to start, and it's like, shoot, I still have to reconfigure OBS. So, but I'm only like a minute and a half late, and I remembered this time to hit OBS to go start recording and then go live. So I'm not sitting here talking for 5 minutes thinking I'm talking to everybody. But howdy. Hopefully everyone's having a great weekend. It's post CES now, and then as the title says up there, I hit 40,000 subscribers the other day, so that's really cool. And a couple people already. Fights and Finance, yo. Ronald Hudson, 8 already here. Might as well kick it off. Yeah. Tom C, hello. Glad to have you here tonight. Michael York, hello as well. Greg Oles TV, yes, thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it. Retethered Tech, hello. And Brian N. Millar, hello as well. And congratulations on 40K. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is kind of a lot of stuff today, I guess. But yeah, totally not something I expected to happen at this point in time this year. So this kind of goes back to CES of 2020 last year. And when I was there, I had 4,200 subscribers whenever CES started. And then now, yeah, the day after CES ended this go-around, 40,000. So it's been a crazy year, and mostly because of you guys, because you're all awesome. Man, lots of chat so far. So High Tech Redneck, congratulations. Yes, thank you very much, sir. Anthony Davis, thank you on the congratulations. And Jay Pragesh, Jaya Pragesh, if I pronounce that correctly. Hello, thanks for being here tonight. Thanks, Luca. So, yeah, this last go-around, like a year ago, if you said, did I expect to see myself here a year later, I would say absolutely not. You're crazy, and I would not understand the roadmap to get there at all. But 2020 was very, very good to me in that regard, so I have no complaints there. And yeah, it's been a good year all the way around for that stuff, and lots of interesting things, of course, happening this year or this last year. Lots of sucky things happening, but YouTube-wise, yeah, it's been a learning process. A lot of different things going on. Upgraded. I mean, just looking back at where I was a year ago, quality-wise, when it came to video, and I set out this year. I said I wanted to make better videos. I wanted to make better content. I wanted to learn more. Make better thumbnails. Get better with YouTube analytics, and also just overall trying to create and tailor down to the audience and making just better videos. It's really what I wanted to do, and I think I accomplished that. And I'm happy about that, and it seems like it's worked because a lot of people really enjoy it. Retethered, huge star, have Anthony Davis in the chat. Yeah, I don't think it's the same Anthony Davis, but yeah. So anyway, so I appreciate all of you showing up for that tonight. Actually, some other cool things. So my birthday is actually on Tuesday. I was going to put that in here as well, so it'd be like 40K subscriber / birthday / post CES, it would be. I think it would be a lot to put in one title. I don't think I can quite pull that off. Greg Oles TV, would you like a folding Blackberry phone? No, I don't think that I would. I don't see the point in a folding Blackberry phone unless it would make the keyboard too big, and I have thoughts on that regarding the keyboard because the BlackBerry Passport, as nice as it is, you get a lot of you get some thumb fatigue when you're typing on that. So if you were to make a folding BlackBerry, that would make the keyboard even wider than the BlackBerry already is, and then you'd be looking at more of like what you saw traditionally with like the landscape keyboards, and those are just really, really wide, like the old Sidekicks. I never enjoyed typing on those. So, and the other thing is a lot of times when you look at these folding form factors, they really take that and they try to enhance the experience. So bigger screen, bigger real estate, more functionality, and a physical keyboard in itself is already like a unique form factor, especially now in 2021. So I would just like to see a better one. So I can't say that I would like to have one. Like if they did a slider concept well, or some other things to maximize the screen real estate and not have the keyboard showing all the time, Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of neat too. A long time ago, there was actually I think there was a prototype, or there was at least a lot of people that were interested in having a BlackBerry Passport type phone with just an all screen. And I always thought that would kind of be interesting too. So we'll see what happens. But I'm really looking forward, of course, to the new BlackBerry. So we'll see what happens this year. And we're supposed to get a new form factor, so we'll see. We see. Happy early birthday. Thank you very much. Birthday was on the 2nd. Well, happy belated birthday to you, Carlos. Thanks, Brian, with the cake. Yeah, I mean, I would love to be Anthony Davis, too. That would be a lot of NBA money. What if BlackBerry did their phone like the LG Wing? Now, that would be an interesting concept, because then you've got two things working there. Like, you've got always the touch screen on top, and then it pivots out to the side and opening up a fully functional keyboard. I'm really curious to see what BlackBerry does, and all we know right now is that it's going to have a physical keyboard. We know it's going to have 5G, and we know it's going to be running Android. So, based off of those things, I mean, there's been a lot of different physical keyboard design phones that we've seen. So I think these guys at Onward Mobility, I think they know what's going on. I think they've got some tricks up their sleeve. And whatever they do, I think it's going to be well done. And I think it has to be well done. So I think that's one of the reasons why you don't see them doing a lot of haphazard or off-the-cuff stuff, just trying to generate buzz. I think the phone will speak for itself whenever it comes out. Oh, the 8T on T-Mobile, that's a great phone. Totally love the 8T. It's probably my most favorite OnePlus phone, period, and the best, I think arguably the best phone all around for a lot of people of 2020. Really, really good phone. Yeah, and here we go. I'd like to highlight here. I can't have it pop up on the screen because this isn't StreamYard, but James Jackson Jr., I want to see a tiny bit wider Classic with the tool belt. And that's really what I've been saying, is I'd really like to see a Passport, like a blend. Like, the Passport I think is too wide, and the Classic I think in 2021 is too small. So I'd like to see like kind of the same DNA in the Classic, but a little bit wider and a little bit taller. But hey, I'm here for whatever. I mean, I think that whatever ultimately they build, I'm a little excited about it, because Onward Mobility has not brought a phone to the market before, and they're working with FIH, Foxconn, to build this phone. So I think we're going to see something probably maybe what we don't expect. And I do know that they're using their own unique keyboard. They're not recycling one that's already out there. So that kind of limits the speculation on previous models. So I don't know. I think whatever it is, though, I think that it'll be good. One particular thing I've been playing around with right now, it's in my pocket even. Here we go. So I got the OnePlus Nord 10 5G, and I've been using it for the last couple of days, and I actually really kind of like this phone. There's a lot of stuff about it that I think that OnePlus did well. I mean, there are some sacrifices whenever you take a look at it, because it does have 5G in it, but it's $299. So I have been enjoying it, using it on T-Mobile right now. I've been testing it out quite a bit. 6.5-inch screen, or 6.49-inch, 6 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 690, which has the 5G. And it's interesting because the new TCL 20 phone is going to have a Snapdragon 690 in it, and also I think be similar price point. So it's interesting to see OnePlus getting out the gate in 2021 with this, and where they're going with it. James Marrero, I think that would be a cool way to put a keyboard on a phone. Let me see what I miss here. Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm very hopeful for it, because as much as I like the Key 2, and I actually have a story with the Key 2, I misplaced it yesterday. I was trying to find it all over the place, and it's always either in my office, it's on my dresser, or it's next to my bed. And I haven't used it in the last probably week, because I've been testing out these other phones. And I went to go put my SIM card back in it last night, and I couldn't find it. And just a precursor to this, I have a bad habit of falling asleep like in bed on top of my phones. I'll have like 2 or 3 phones I'm playing with, and I'll fall asleep on them or whatever. And so I came out to my office. I couldn't find it. It wasn't with the rest of my Blackberries. I went back to my room. I went back to my office. I was like tearing everything apart. I even looked under my bed, and we have like one of those king size beds that's a split twin, where there's like that gap in the middle. And I went back in there, and finally I just ripped the mattress off the bed and was looking around, and finally it had bounced. It had fallen between the bed and then bounced underneath my wife's side of the bed. So I don't know if she was trying to sabotage me by hiding my BlackBerry, but thankfully I finally found it. I was reunited with my BlackBerry. I do have some exciting news though. So I found out today I have a anonymous donor, and I'm not getting to keep this, but I'm getting to borrow it for about 2 weeks, and it's the red edition BlackBerry Mobile Key 2. And I know somebody who has one, and they are going to let me borrow theirs. So yeah, I'm gonna make a video about that. And I got to see one hands-on when I was at CES in 2020 over at the TCL or BlackBerry Mobile table, and I got to look at one in person. It was super cool. So I'm really excited about this. Of course, it's not really one of those things where it's like, oh, it's really all that much different on the inside than the current BlackBerry Key 2, but I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on it and making a video. Let me see. Hey, Adam, wondering when you used the Key 2 LE, was it the average on battery life because of Champagne model? Yeah, I think the battery life is perfectly fine on the Key 2 LE. It should get you through a day. I didn't have any problems with it. And the Snapdragon 636 is a fairly power-efficient chipset. Rohan, I'm sad the Samsung removed the SD card slot. Yeah, that's something that's concerning to me with the new... Which one do I use the Key 2 on? I use it on T-Mobile. And it should work with any GSM unlocked network, no problems. I mean, LTE bands or availability may differ from location to location, but it's got enough in there that, I mean, anywhere in the United States, Canada, or a lot of major countries, it should be fine. Yeah, so with the S21, like, I like it. I went ahead and I pre-ordered the S21 Ultra. I think I got it in the black. Like, the black on black color just looks really, really good to me. Like, I was looking, I'm like, man, wow, this is the most impressive looking Samsung color I've seen in a while. I'm not usually drawn to the black colored phones. Usually I like the white ones, or I'll go with some of the newer colors. I really liked the Mystic Gray that I have like in my Z Flip 5G. So I saw it and I'm like, man, this kind of stinks, especially because when you look at, I believe the S21, the S21 Plus, the only two options they come in are 128 and 256. So the Ultra goes up to 512. I think it's 128 or 512. But I really don't think that for like an $800,000, $900,000 phone, I think that the SD card slot should be there. I mean, it seems like it wouldn't be that difficult to keep it in there. So yeah, that's one thing. And then two, I don't know. It's just too little storage. I would think that in 2021 with such an expensive phone that they would go ahead and have 256. I mean, I really feel like that should be the baseline for if you're going to take out the SD card slot, especially when you got a phone that's capable of shooting 8K. And I know that that takes up a lot of space. I want to say if you record in 8K, if I remember correctly, I think it's like maybe like 600 megabytes per minute of video recorded, which is not a lot. So yeah, it's doing 8K, and then of course it does 4K at 60. And I gotta tell you, so I went ahead when I got my iPhone 12 Pro Max, and I got the 128. And when I had the iPhone 12 before I sold it, I bought the 128 instead of the 64. When you're shooting in 4K, 128 just doesn't cut it anymore. And it really doesn't. So yeah, Frankie, hey, thanks a lot, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, 50K. I don't know I'm gonna hit that. I've been averaging over 2,000 subscribers a month for like the last since April. So, I mean, if I stay on course for this year, I mean, minimum that's another 24,000 subscribers this year. So, I mean, I'll hit 50,000 probably by May or June, which will be super cool too. 50,000, it's halfway to the road to 100. So one day, ideally TechOdyssey will be at 100 subscribers, and then that'll be really cool. And then I can get that little silver thing, the YouTube thing. Yeah, Rohan, black on black looks good. Missed the capacitive keyboard. So the Job Tate. When it comes to the capacitive keyboard, that's one of those things that comes down to personal preference. And I think also it's important whenever you look at price, because that does add extra money that they charge for that. Nose itching. They add extra money. Yeah, so it costs more money, and also I think it makes it a little bit harder to seal up. I think it's still hard to seal up a physical keyboard. It's porous. The water goes right in there. So they did it with the Unihertz Titan, but it had a very rubbery feeling keyboard, and I did not like the rubber membrane that was on it, and it really, I'm sure it could be done better. And look, it's 2021 now. Maybe they can find a really good way to make it waterproof. That would be cool. But if it's at the sacrifice and detriment of the keyboard experience, I don't want that. And I really don't spend a lot of time with my phone near the water. I mean, unless you worry about dropping it in the toilet or it sliding off into the sink or things like that. But I think that we're still at the point now, unless they just come up with something completely new that we haven't seen, which is, hey, it could happen. I would worry about them trying to sacrifice the experience to give it that IP certification. Devin Garcia, when did you review on the 70Ts? Not like the 85T. It's not active. I have when. I'm understand what. When did you receive? When did you review? When you did a review on the 75Ts, really not like the. I'm not sure what you mean by that. There's not an 85T. There's not an 85T active yet. The 85T active, I'm sure, will come later. So the 75T came out several months before the 75T Elite Actives, which came out, I want to say, probably about 4 months later. And it does make a difference. See, maybe the S21 FE will have an SD card slot. I hope so. I'm not really sure why. And somebody was telling me that it had to do with the transfer speed stuff. Like, whenever you look at the experience that you get with a smartphone with the built-in memory on the board, the transfer speeds are really high. And the SD cards are much slower than that. So I don't know if maybe that has something to do with it. Somebody mentioned to me something about maybe it was transfer speed. But either way, it's not in there anymore. And it seems like the comments have frozen up down here, so that stinks. I might have to pull up the video here so I can see what everybody's saying, because it's not working on my end. Yeah, 256 minimum. Yeah, I think absolutely we need to head in that direction. And the thing is memory is so cheap, or storage space. Storage space, it's not expensive. Whenever they go and they throw an extra RAM and they throw an extra storage space, it just seems that whenever it comes around to the amount of money that it costs for per gigabyte to put in there, and then what they charge you extra for it, it would feel like a no-brainer. And that particularly frustrates me when you look at Apple and stuff. Okay, comments are working again. But yeah, it frustrates me a lot that they do that, because it costs them so little. If you look at the iMac, or the Mac Mini, it's $699 for the 256 gigabyte storage option. It's $200 extra to go to 512, and then it's $200 extra beyond that to go to 1 gig. So you're talking effectively $400 for extra storage on a $699 computer, and it's very frustrating because you can't go add any on your own anyway. Yeah, James, internal storage is way faster nowadays, especially on that. So whenever you look at the rates between SD cards and then the transfer speeds and stuff like that built in with the onboard storage, there's a difference. Literally didn't expect Samsung to remove the SD card slot, but maybe we'll get it in the S22. Yeah, I don't know. And I've actually got a video topic. I text myself video ideas all the time. And there's a video that I want to make about the S21 because they're taking away so many features. And when you look at Samsung, right, they've always been synonymous with the curved edge displays with especially their S line and their Note line. They're taking away the curved screen. So I don't like that. They're taking away, if you get the S21 or the S21 Plus, you don't get Quad HD Plus. So no high resolution. You get no curved screen. You get no SD card storage. And then there was something else that they're taking off of there too. There's no headphone jack, of course. So there's 4 or 5 things that they're taking out, which typically have been cornerstone things associated with Samsung. And I don't like it, especially when this is their flagship lineup. I do like that they're adding the S Pen support, and of course that raises a bunch of questions for what we're going to look at moving forward, how that's going to shape the landscape, because it's not just going to be the S line, it's going to be also the Fold, and they're talking about opening it up to other phones as well. So, I don't know. I mean, I like some of the things, but at the same point in time, there's some stuff I really don't feel great about. Luca, are you able to sideload Signal and Telegram to the BlackBerry Passport nowadays? I don't think so. Signal you can't because it won't let you do the verification. I've tried that, won't work. And then when it comes to Telegram, I don't use Telegram, but since it's so new, I would very much think that it's not supporting the Android 4.3 runtime. So probably not gonna work. Read some of these other comments. Yeah, James, I don't know how Apple keeps selling the same old design and people buy it. Yeah, I thought that we were going to see something a little bit more modern this go around, and they made the sides flat and they made it look a little more retro. But I really think that this is a half-hearted excuse for a refresh, because previously and for years and years and years, it's like every couple of years they would change it, and I hope that they're not using this as their change. Like, I hope that next year that maybe they'll do something a little bit better, and it seems like they're trying to come on board with a couple different features and stuff like that now, especially with the widgets and the folders, and they're trying to make certain things more like Android. But yeah, oh yeah, those are the other things, Tom. No charging brick, no earbuds. It's like, here's your power cable and your phone, and we took all this stuff out of it and keep paying us more money, so we'll see. But yeah, that's a video that I have planned to release out here soon. But I did go ahead and pre-order it. And if you're looking to get one, there's some really good trade-ins on it right now. So right now, like, you can trade in, if you're with T-Mobile, you can trade in a Samsung Galaxy S9 or S9 Plus or something like that, and get $800 worth of trade-in credit at T-Mobile towards a S21, S21 Plus, or Ultra, and of course it will pay for the S21. Even the Pixel 4a at $350, you can find those cheaper. So you can effectively get several $300 or less phones and trade them into T-Mobile. Of course, it's bill credits, but still, hey, that's a great deal for a brand new phone. The job, Tate, I use BBM with my wife on deployment, still have a subscription. Yeah, I've actually been thinking about starting that back up again myself. I used BBM for a very long time, and once they got rid of the consumer model, I did not switch over to eBBM, and I actually had my own pen. I had a pen for a long time, and that's probably, of course, gone, but we'll see. I would like to see them do some more with that, but I believe BlackBerry Messenger got spun off and licensed to somebody else to manage and push, so I know it's still supposed to be secure and all that great stuff, but with all the different messaging platforms available out there, I found that it was kind of underdeveloped. It just wasn't as great compared to some of the other ones. And the interface has always been kind of clunky for using. I have OnePlus as an alternative to Apple and Samsung. OnePlus is great. I love Oxygen OS. And I do like the One UI. I always hated Samsung's UI for years, especially with TouchWiz. And then once they switched over to the Galaxy S8, it got a lot better. And with this One UI thing, it's a whole lot better. And you get a more unified experience across devices, and you get faster updates. So I do like that. But OnePlus, yeah, Oxygen is great. I love the OnePlus 8T. I'm really looking forward to the OnePlus 9. And now that they're sending me phones, I'm hoping that I'll get one of those. And I was glad that they went ahead and sent me the Nord. And I put out my unboxing and first impressions about that already, which you can check out. I agree, SD card speeds are slower than internal storage, but do you install apps on your... Yeah, nobody really installs apps on their SD card. Like, that's usually just for tertiary storage and stuff. And what I'm curious about, I wonder if the transfer and the read-write speeds are fast enough if you try to record 8K onto them. And, maybe that's the limitation. I don't know. I don't want to spread false information. I just know there's some disconnect there. Such a girl, is BlackBerry Playbook worth having in 2021? I would say no. I bought one here recently. I made a video about it. I'll probably make another one in the near future. But it's so handicapped at this point. Trying to even use a browser is basically an exercise in futility. And much of the games and apps are gone or don't work. Or it's cool. It's a neat novelty. I mean, you can still use it as like a media player, but you would have to transfer stuff over to it anyway. So I don't know. I don't see the practicality in it. I got one as a collector and as a novelty item, but if you want one, you can certainly find them. They still have some brand new ones on eBay, like the one I got for around, I think, $50 or $60. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, retailer. No MST. Yeah, I didn't have my list in front of me, but so yeah, Samsung is getting rid of the MST, which is their magnetic signature, whatever. I can't remember what it stands for. But basically, whenever they came out with these alternative contactless payment methods, I really, really loved Samsung Pay, because if you had a flagship Samsung phone, I think starting with the S7, I know definitely the S8, you could use it on ones that didn't have the NFC payment methods like Google Pay or Apple Pay. So Apple Pay, Google Pay, even Samsung Pay will use NFC, but you could hover the Samsung Pay one, you could hover it over the card swipe, because it would use that magnetic signature or signal and send it across like it was emulating a card swipe. And you could use them on any card reader. And I had a lot of times I would go into places and they're like, oh, you can't pay with your phone. I'm like, yes, I can. Watch. They're like, no, I'm telling you, it won't work. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, it will work. Watch. And then you just hover it over where the card swipe is at, and ta-da, it worked. So that made it special. And I get it. It costs extra money. Most places, well, not most places, but a lot of places in the developed commercial world now are taking NFC forms of payment. So maybe they did like a cost-benefit analysis thing and said, look, maybe X amount of people are using it, or maybe they looked at the numbers, because they've got to be able to see the raw data on the back end. They probably look at it and they're like, look, so many more people are saying, or so many more people are using the NFC contactless payment than the MST now, so maybe it's, moving forward, it's just going to get less and less, because as like the contactless payment comes online, and it was especially huge in 2020, I can see how that's something that over the long time would, have a fast attrition rate. Supposedly in Europe and Latin America, you still have the MST. Yeah, and that's quite possible. That's one of the things, there's such a distinction and a differentiation between the European model and the US model. For instance, we've previously gotten the Qualcomm Snapdragon processor in the past, and over in the European market, you end up with the Exynos. So, and I've heard really good things about this new Exynos chipset. Like, I would really like to test one out myself. I think that it would be cool. I've not been a big fan of them in the past, but I think it was maybe it was the 9650, if I've got the right numbers. I experienced the Exynos with my Note 10 Lite that I had earlier this year, and I liked it a lot. So, but yeah, it seems like in the past the Qualcomm has been better with power and battery management. So we'll have to see what goes on moving forward, but I'm curious. And I'm curious if they're going to get sent out early too. If you follow people around on Twitter, I was looking at Max Weinbach earlier, and he said that he's already got a tracking number for his S21 Ultra, and it still says it's going to be shipped on the 27th or arrive then. But yeah, whenever it comes to Samsung, they're notorious about sending their stuff out early. So we'll see. But yeah, Luke, I'm very interested in seeing this new Exynos chipset. You need to pay for the time you use the iPhone, otherwise expect to pay $1,000 for a phone, return and get... I'm not sure what you mean there. How do we know... Do we know how long the deal with Onward Mobility is? I don't know how long the licensing agreement is. I don't think that that's something that was made public knowledge. I would imagine it would have to be at least 3 years, because you've got to... I would imagine they're going to guarantee at least 2 years of support and basically the year of run-up to get there. So I don't even know what it is. And there could be like some pay-to-play stuff in there. There could be some things where it's like, okay, if this one does well, we'll guarantee you a second one. If this one doesn't do good, we won't guarantee a second one. So I don't know. And I don't even know if that's a question that I can ask, but that would be something interesting to talk to Peter about next time I'm able to interview him. They gave the iPhone 12 on us on T-Mobile with amplified plan. It's for corporations. Yeah, the iPhone, there's been a lot of good deals with it. And if you can get one on the on us thing, that's great. But what's frustrating to me, T-Mobile used to have really good trade-in deals and trade-in specials for whenever you could get new phones. But now it seems like it's only for new customers adding lines. It's like you always have to add a line, and most of the time it's only for new customers. So you're kind of limited on how awesome some of these deals are. But if you're switching to T-Mobile, or if you need to add a line, I mean, they have got some good plans. Which is why I was surprised when I saw the ones for the S21 that only require you to trade in a phone as opposed to adding a line. I remember being so excited about Android 2.2. Yeah, I was excited about that too, because storage back then was so limited. Like, if you remember back in the day, those phones only had like 8 or 16 gigabytes of storage, like max. So being able to toss an SD card in there was huge. Being able to have that extra space. Let me see here. Exynos 2100 is like the true successor to the S6. Yeah, the Exynos processor that was in the S6 was actually a really good chipset. And the reason they went that route was because I think it was a Snapdragon 808 or 810 was such a dumpster fire that they bailed on it and decided to go with the Exynos. And that's the only one that's in the US that's had it. All the other ones have been Snapdragons. As long as BlackBerry is selling patents, maybe they'll sell their notification light patent. Yeah, man, I wish more phones had that. I don't know if they're going to be selling that one. I would imagine that they would hold on to that patent so they can use it with their newer phones. So we'll see. And I'm really excited. I was hoping to see something at CES, but I have to believe that Microsoft has something in the works for the new Duo at some point in time. And the timing is odd. Like, I don't know which way they're going with it, because the original Duo was announced, I want to say November of 2019, and then it came out in the fall of 2020, and they had announced like a year out almost. They're like, look, this will be available holiday season next year, and then they pushed it up. So I don't know why they pushed it up, other than it was like older hardware, and it really seems, of course, like a lot of people believed it was half-baked when it came out. There was a lot of issues with software, with bugs, with getting things to work properly, apps not being optimized, and then also hardware-related issues too, because it's made out of plastic. And the hinge itself was causing problems. So I really love my Duo. I've been thinking about picking up another one. As soon as I can get one for like $499, like a fire sale or just a really good deal, I'm going to get one. I absolutely loved it for work. I had my work email on it. I used it for my Skype and my Duo stuff. I used it for my Zoom meetings. I used it for online trainings. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I used the Duo for. Like, I actually really enjoyed it. So I want another one, but the price tag is too high, and I was having like critical hardware issues with mine, so I returned it. I got a replacement, and then it started having the same problems. I sent it back. Yeah, I really miss the BlackBerry notification lights. Yeah, I really do too. So I'm looking forward to that with the new one whenever it comes out. James Jackson, I feel as a business, Onward Mobility won't make a second one anyways if the first one. Yeah, if the first one doesn't sell well, they're not going to have a second one. And this is really a make or break device. Like the BlackBerry mobile devices, they were kind of the logical progression. It was the first licensing agreement that they really did. So I think after that one didn't work, that it was... BlackBerry really wants to have a presence with the phone in the market, I believe. It's just that they don't want to be responsible for it. Especially at this point, because they have fully transitioned to a software and security services company. So for them to repick back up that mantle, there's a significant amount of things that would need to happen. And that's something that, of course, the shareholders would probably be concerned about too, and the board as well, board of directors. So I don't know if that would be in their best interest right now, but this whole licensing agreement thing works out well because it allows a phone to still be in the market, but there's a lot less limited liability. Like, somebody else is taking the ownership for that. But this is the second time that it's happened. Clearly, people recognize the amount of notoriety that the brand has. Like, people still believe in them, or people still like them. They're very iconic. So it would be like if Sony went out of business and then somebody wanted to pick up the name. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there associated with that where it could sell on name alone as long as they do good. But the thing is they have to do good because they're continually eroding the goodwill and the strength of brand that the name carries out in the public sector. What's the deal with the Punk phone? So the Punk phone, they had the MP01 and also the MP02. Basically, it's a secure dumb phone, but you can also use it for an LTE hotspot. And they actually offered to send me one to review, but I'm going to be quite honest with you. There was zero part of me that wanted to use that phone for a week or two to review it. It's basically just an LCD readout screen and some number buttons that you can use. Like I have to do entirely too much communication, too much social media, too much typing. I was very interested in it, and I like the collaboration between them. But at the same point in time, I'm like, I know I'm not going to do that. But if that's something you want, then go for it. I mean, it's a great minimalistic phone, and people want ways to disconnect nowadays. Like they want to be able, like I talk to people all the time, and a lot of times they're like, "Yeah, I hate being stuck on my phone all the time. I hate being addicted to my phone. I hate using social media all the time." Like if you really want to disconnect and limit some of that stuff, then yeah, I mean, it could be a good option for that. And then of course it's secure. James, I hope Huawei is able to sell in the U.S. and Xiaomi. So if you saw the other day, Xiaomi also got added to that DoD blacklist as well. Now it's not completely blacklisted like Huawei is, but yeah, it's not good because there are concerns, at least security concerns when it comes to these Chinese brands like Huawei and Xiaomi, and they make amazing hardware. Like Huawei makes some amazing phones, and like their P30, their P20, their P40 have been absolutely phenomenal devices. So it's one of those things where I hope the best for them, and I hope that one day they're able to get out from under this shroud of concern that people have and be a global player again, because competition is basically what drives the industry. So the more good phones that we get, the more brands we have out there, the less we have these giant, not really monopolies, but for lack of better terminology, these controlling presences in the market with like Apple and Samsung. I like to see different stuff. Personality disorder. Seems to me that complex form factor Android devices are a better deal over ordinary form factors like the S21. Well, yes and no. I mean, better is a subjective term. It's a very moving target when it comes to a lot of people, because what is better? I mean, we could go sit down at the same Mexican food restaurant. I'm like, well, these enchiladas are better. You should get these. And like, well, these tamales are better. You should order these. Or hey, these tacos are better. You should order these. People have personal preferences. That's why we have 8 million phones. That's why we have 8 million cars. People like choice, and people have preferences. So better is a hard word to use. Now, when you look at the same thing, arguably and objectively, yes, you can say that the Key 2 is better than the Key 1. You can say that the Passport or the Classic is better than the Q10 or the Z10. It's the same product, but they made it better, and it's more powerful, it's more modern. And yeah, when you look at a phone that's not supported anymore, and you look at a phone that is supported, yes, this is probably better to get right now. I've used a lot of different novel form factors, and I'm crossing my fingers. I may still be able to get a Wing here sometime in the near future, which I'm really excited about. But I've used the Z Flip. I had the Z Flip 5G, the Duo, the Fold 2. Like, I've used a lot of these novel form factor phones, and I like them personally. And they've kind of killed like the Note for me. I like the Note just fine, but I find myself gravitating more towards the Z Flip or the Z Fold 2. But some people may not want that. Some people may like the Fold better. So we'll just have to see what happens. I'm not sure. GoFlow, they gave Huawei the year 1990 patent. Yeah, so I did make a video about this, and probably some of y'all have seen it. When it comes to the sale of the patents that Huawei got from Blackberry, I can't say they were all old, but it seems like the majority of them were from like 2007 to 2009. Like, they predate like the Paratech antenna. They predate things like Blackberry 10. It's like old legacy stuff. And I saw some of the comments on things. It's like one of them is like which way to rotate the picture or display it based off the position on the phone, or like sending out group messages, or pushing information to multiple devices at once. What I think is basically what we're looking at is Huawei is trying to establish their brand independence. Huawei would still be a huge major global player if they weren't kicked in the butt by this blacklist and not able to use Android or Google services anymore. And that hurt them a lot. So they're trying, as far as I know, to build their own operating system. And ultimately, I think that's really good for everybody. Because if they can make it viable, of course, they're one of the biggest phone manufacturers and electronics companies in the world. If they can make it work, then that could give us a viable third party. Like, I would probably test one out. I don't have any heartburn against that. But the whole Android and the U.S. blacklisting thing is really what hurt them bad. And they've experienced a lot of this stuff, because if you remember the Huawei, I think it was the Mate 10 Pro, was supposed to be a carrier exclusive to AT&T back in the day, and like a week before it launched, it got Canex. So there's like not happening. Maybe it was the Mate 20. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Too many phones since then. Monu, thanks for stopping by. Congratulations on 40K. I appreciate it. And I appreciate your support and always watching the videos. James Marrero, will BlackBerry come back with their own OS? I don't think so. If BlackBerry comes back with their own OS, I don't really know how to address that, but it seems like no. I mean, there's been no extension on the operating system. There's been no update to it. There's been no indication they're going to extend it farther. The end of life date was already pushed back. So January 2022, no longer going to be supported. So that's going to be uncharted territory in that regard, as far as what's still going to work. But I don't know. I don't see BlackBerry 10 getting a revival. If they were to ever re-enter the operating system market again, I believe it would probably be with a new form. And I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened that they would have to update the operating system to make it, more current. Of course, the older devices probably wouldn't support it anyway, and the hardware that's in the old phones is so old now. And we're coming up on about 10 years that the operating system came out. So I would expect, if they ever made another one, I would expect to see a newer one. And just with the current climate on how things are going, I would even expect them to not put out something that has new apps. I would expect it to see very much like BBOS 7 with its own browser and its own stuff that would require very little maintenance, just so you could have a secure phone. And I think that there would be a huge market for that, honestly. And I would personally enjoy using one. I feel the Note have always been a double screen like the Duo. Yeah, that puts some questions up in the air when it comes to the Fold and what they're going to do with the Note, because if the Fold is like the ultimate version of the Note, and I've been sitting around lately, like, some people say that the Fold can be essentially a tablet replacement, and I believe it could be and can be for some people, but I use my Tab S7 Plus every day to make all of my thumbnails, and if I could have a stylus with my Fold, I would be using that, and that would make me a lot happier. I could take the picture with the phone, edit it, and upload it straight from there, and that would be very, very ideal. Let me see. Thanks for the headphones, Jay. Oh, hey, I'm glad you got them. And yeah, so I did some giveaways here recently. I gave away some Soundcore Liberty Air 2s. I gave away a, what is it? The new Mobile G5, which I got to mail out. And then there was another set of earbuds I mailed out as well. Mailed out some Jabra Elite 75Ts that were sponsored by Jabra. So I actually have some more stuff to give away. Let me get this. So, Soundcore, I've got 5 pair of these Q30s, the Live Q30 headphones, which I'm going to be starting a giveaway on this week on, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be US only. I know it's unfortunate I can't send this stuff out to everybody internationally. It just costs me so much money in shipping, and I pay the shipping to send this stuff out. So that will be something I'm doing this week, but I've got 5 pair of them, so it's going to be, I'll probably do a giveaway video, and then the Gleam.io contest to manage all of it, because, I mean, 5 sets of these headphones is a lot. Retethered Tech, both form factors. Actually, one thing, I saw Big John Tech Reviews. I don't want to overlook you. Thanks a lot for stopping by, buddy. I appreciate you being here tonight. But retethered, yeah, both form factors have pros and cons. Folding phones, at least for now, are fragile, expensive. Yeah, they're very expensive. They're not as fragile as you would think, but as time wears on, you start to see some of the chinks in the armor, or kinks in the armor, whatever it is, how you pronounce it. They're talking about having issues with the screens in the cold, or the hinges are wearing out prematurely to where they won't stay in position for the flex mode, particularly with the Z Flip. So they're going to have to make them better, of course, and the technology will mature as they continue to develop. It'll mature, it'll evolve, but I think form factors like the Fold and these new form factors are here to stay, and I think it's cool. I mean, I like all these cool new things, so I'm glad that they do it, but they are expensive, And the thing is as they make more and more of them, as the technology matures more and more and becomes more prevalent in the market, the prices should come down to an extent. But I would expect to not see any budget Series 1s for quite a long time. So we'll see. Not hearing any sound, Spectacular Gadgets? I don't know. I mean, it seems like everybody else is hearing sound, I guess. Hopefully, anyway. I'm not sure why you're not hearing sound. But yes, we have 69 concurrent viewers right now, which is fantastic. And I appreciate you all being here. And we have 37 likes. So if you are enjoying the video, the live stream, and y'all are having a great time, then yeah, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you want notifications. I do this pretty much every Sunday. And, of course, super chats and channel memberships are open and always appreciated as well. King Singh, are you going to get the Huawei or the Sony to the best camera phones of 2020? Probably not. I did send an email to Sony the other day asking them if they would send me the Xperia, I think it was the Xperia 5 Mark II. And I would really like to get my hands on one. Will I go buy one? I'm probably not going to. Just because I don't think that it would get a lot of views on my channel, and it's a lot of money for me to spend. Like, I do like, it's great to build relationships with brands, especially like TCL and with LG and with OnePlus, for them to send me phones. It's great because normally I have to go buy all this stuff, and as a review channel, there's only so much stuff that I can buy because it comes out of my own pocket. So I'm still buying all these Samsung and Apple phones whenever they come out, and it is it's an expensive investment, but you know, it's what I care, it's what I enjoy doing, so I do it mostly gladly. But at least now, you know, with the amount of views and subscribers that I have, it helps me with building relationships with brands, and also, you know, revenue to buy them. It works out. But at this point, I don't see myself buying one of the Xperias. If they'll send me one, it'll be great. But if not, then maybe the next go around. We'll see. James Morero, I will try Samsung only with a future Fold model when the prices drop. The prices drop quick. And I was just looking at this the other day. I think you can get an original Fold for like less than $800 renewed on Amazon now, which is crazy. Let me look. And the prices are dropping like rockets, falling out of the sky, I guess, on whenever it comes to, it goes up like rocket. I used the wrong analogy. Whenever you talk about the Samsung phones, their prices, they drop so fast. Like, you can find the Fold 2s used, renewed, all over the place for like less than $1,400 now, which is insane because it's a $2,000 phone that's only been out for a few months. So that's one of those things that's like, ugh. Oh, actually, how is my audio tonight? Apparently my audio is, no, it's set up for the Yeti. Okay. There we go. All right, I was looking at my audio here and like the wrong thing was coming out. So hopefully the audio and everything is good tonight. Again, like I said earlier, I built a new computer. So I'm running an i9 now. It's a 10th generation i9. I've got 16 gigs of RAM in here for now because I had to give 16 to my son. So I gave my son my old computer. He was using an AMD FX series, like 3.6, 3.5 gigahertz processor. It was my old computer before I upgraded to my second generation Ryzen 7 2 years ago. So I needed to upgrade his computer because he was having a hard time running like Call of Duty and stuff like that with his brothers. They have nicer computers. Theirs were newer. So instead of just taking the board and chip out of his, which was going to cost me money anyway, I just went ahead and invested and bought myself a new case and upgraded mine. So I've now got a 10th generation i9 in here, and it's like 40% faster than my Ryzen 7 2700, the second generation one, and I am very, very much enjoying the power boost. Like, I've got a 4K monitor, and I had tried out like Resident Evil 3 on 4K before, and it was not fast. Like, when I tried to fully max it out on 4K, it was kind of choppy. I would have to drop down to Quad HD Plus. So now I can run Resident Evil 3 fully maxed out on 4K, and yeah, lots of other stuff, especially when it comes to like other games. So it's nice, even with Cyberpunk 2077. Oh, and also Spectacular Gadgets, hello, and thanks for being here. I saw you were posting stuff, and I meant to say hello earlier. I apologize for taking that long. So many comments. James Jackson Jr., MKBHD, did a video on why people don't buy Sony phones. I haven't seen that. And honestly, it's funny. I have not seen any videos yet on the S21. I watched the keynote address for the Unpacked event, but I haven't actually sat down and watched anyone. So, like, I want to watch some of those videos. I'm interested in this phone. There are things that I don't like about it, but ultimately, I think it's going to be a good phone. And it seems like they've fixed the camera issues from the S20 this last year, the S20 Ultra in particular. So we'll see. Hopefully, it's back to having an amazing camera. GoFlow, am I aware of which quarter the new BlackBerry will drop? I can't say for certain no, but they have said from their initial thing in the beginning that it would be the first half of 2021. So we have all the way up to June 30th. My expectation is that probably sometime around May or June we'll get a formal announcement. Yeah, the Sony phones have very good cameras. They've got good camera interfaces. It's basically like kind of like having a really good pro version camera in your phone. The problem is you can't get them at carriers. They charge too much money for them, and they just don't have the market presence to command that. But if you get one, I think that they're good phones. Spectacular Gadget. I do not think I'll get the 21. I will keep my Note 20 Ultra. Yeah, I have my Note 20 Ultra, and I don't ever use it. I'm probably going to sell it because I've been using the Fold 2, and I've also got my Z Flip 5G, which I'll trade in whenever the new one comes out later on. But the Note 20 Ultra is the least of my favorite between the Z Fold 2 and the Z Flip 5G. So likely I'll get rid of that or sell it, and then I'm going to have the S21 Ultra. So I can't use the S21 Ultra, the Note 20 Ultra, the Fold 2, and the Z Flip. And I'm not getting rid of the Fold or the Z Flip. So that's just kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah, I think it is a minimal upgrade. I mean, the Snapdragon 888 is nice, and I think they said it's about a 20% performance increase over the 865 Plus. The biggest thing they really need to fix is, like, the battery life I was not impressed with whenever it came to the Note 20 Ultra. I've had serious battery life problems, but I'm hoping the S21 Ultra has better battery life than the Note 20 Ultra, and I'm hoping that the cameras are much improved over the S20 Ultra. So we'll have to see, but I think it's going to be a good phone. I like the way that it looks. I was very critical about the way the lenses were set up with that block on the back, but it's kind of grown on me. Yeah, it is difficult whenever you have like so many of these phones to juggle around because it's just it's just money sitting there. I mean, so I should probably sell it or trade it or do something with it before it further depreciates because Samsung phones are worth about 50% of what they were a year after you get them. What unlocked Sprint Key 1 user here on Verizon network is really sluggish, waiting very patiently for the new one. In the meantime, can you flash the firmware? I do not believe that you can. They've got the secure kernel on them, especially when it comes to the bootloader and all that. I don't even know. I've never tried before because I don't use other launchers. Like, you may be able to put a launcher on there, but you're not going to be able to flash it. I don't believe that that's physically possible. But yeah, hoping the new one. I'm really hoping we get more information soon. I put out a video last Monday talking about the two different acquisitions that they got. So they hired two new gentlemen to come work for them. One in charge of the European, Middle Eastern, and African market for device sales, and then another one for government contracts or government sales. So it seems like they're trending in the right direction, getting ready and setting up stuff for whenever the new phone comes available. And I would imagine at this point, if they're going out and trying to secure sales and contracts, that they probably have prototypes, or they at least have an idea of what this model is. They probably have pictures, they have schematics, they have video demo. Like, there's got to be something there. And I don't know if we're going to see any leak stuff that comes out, but I think we're right on the verge, hopefully in the next 6 weeks, of hearing or seeing something. So we'll see. It was nice and reassuring to hear about the two new acquisitions for the sales and the government contract stuff. So I think their head's in the right place. I think that the company is in the right place. It's just a matter of playing the wait and see game. I mean, eventually, probably in the next 4 or 5 months, we'll have an opportunity to see this phone and get one. I hope. Holding my OnePlus 8T to trade in for the 9 Pro. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the OnePlus 9. I saw some renders and some pictures from it the other day, and it looks nice. Like, it looks really nice. Do I think BlackBerry will come out with different sizes? I don't at this point in time. I think that we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to see that. I think we'll just have the one size fits all and then see what happens beyond that. A lot is really going to depend on how well this phone is received. If it tanks, we probably won't see another one. But at least we'll have one for a few years that will work well. And that's probably my biggest criticism, like when it comes to the Key 2 and the Key 2 LE. Like, I think that hardware-wise, they're still okay, but they're starting to show their age. And I picked this one up and started using it again today. It really needs to have Android 9, 10, 11. Like, the new one, when the Key 2 came out, it was Android 8. And we've got Android 9, Android 10, Android 11 is out now. So it's kind of dated, especially with all the gestures and the swiping and all that stuff. So it's very frustrating to bounce back to my Key 2 periodically when I've been using the iPhone and other more modern Android devices. So I'm really looking to that aspect more than anything. And I'm curious, like, I don't know if it's going to be a stock loader. I don't know if they're going to have a skin on it. I sincerely hope that they dump this current BlackBerry user interface skin that they're using, because I don't think it's very good. It's very dated. Albert, congrats on 40K. Hope this is a big year for BlackBerry. Yeah, thank you very much, and I think that it will be. And it has to be. This is the first new BlackBerry that's come out in like 3 years. So I think that there's some excitement behind it. I think there's enough market interest to where if they do come out with it, I think, well, I mean, they will. I think when they come out with it, I think that it'll be received well, as long as it's a well-made phone. And that's the biggest thing. Like, if they make a phone that's not very good, then it's going to get hammered, because people are going to go initially for it and be like, look, they had 3 years, they went in this new licensing agreement, and this is what they came out with. So we're going to have to, it's going to have to do well. And you're very welcome, my channel. I've been waiting to get a BlackBerry Key 2 LE, but they have shot up from roughly $250. Yeah, the prices have gone up a lot. It's just because there's not a lot of them left. And, there is some interest in them this year, and a lot of people know that if you're using T-Mobile, then very likely, as of January 31st, then likely your BlackBerry 10 device is not going to work anymore. So there's a lot of people that are going to have to migrate from BlackBerry 10 over to a new phone, and the BlackBerry Key 2 and Key 2 LE being the logical choices right now. And these people know that there's a new phone on the horizon, so they're trying to basically maximize their profits and take advantage of a market situation, I think. I really think that that's why you're seeing the price increase. And they're limited supply. There's not a lot of them floating out there anymore. Wait a minute. Did I miss something? I see it says chat revenue $20, but I don't see anything that's popped up on the screen. Oh, there it is. Oh, Kyle, thanks a lot. Man, I think you gave me $20 last time too. You don't have to keep doing that. I really appreciate it. It's a really nice gesture, and thank you very much for the super chat. I do appreciate it, Kyle. Congratulations, Adam, on the 40,000 subscribers. Do you feel foldable phones will be the next big thing, or do you think something else will be? Foldable phones are already the next big thing. I mean, we're already in, the second or third year that these things are coming out, and they're getting more refined. They're being more widely adopted by other manufacturers and other platforms, and it seems like there's rumor mill that Pixel's headed that direction. There's rumor mill that Apple may be headed that direction with their own foldable. So I think they're here to stay. And the thing, when you talk about the next big thing, you got to look at where it's going to be. I mean, probably something that's going to come from Samsung or from Apple. I mean, of course, the Fold series seems to be the biggest big thing right now. But what will the next big thing look like? I'm not sure. Whatever finally takes traction out in the market among like mass adoptability, The problem is they're too expensive for everybody to get them right now. But you see that a lot of people are really trying and throwing things at the wall, trying to be successful with them. You look at LG with the Wing. You look at LG with the V60, and also with the Velvet. You look at Microsoft with the Duo. You look at Samsung with the Z Flip, and also with the Fold. You look at Motorola with the Razr. So there's a lot of novel form factor devices that are really coming to the market, and will be, of course, in 2020. You look at the different rollables, the scrolling display stuff that TCL and LG are doing. So yeah, I like it, but it's I don't know what the next big thing is going to be as far as massive adoptability, because for the longest time BlackBerry was the biggest thing, and then the iPhone became the biggest thing, and then it's like people will when we start seeing other companies starting to model their form factors after one successful type of product, I think you'll see that become more streamlined. But for the longest time, people were trying to make their phones more and more like iPhones, more and more like Samsung phones, to where we ended up with this one size fits all. Like every phone looks like this now. So I think that moving forward, people are tired of that. People want something new. They want their phones to be fun again. They want something unique. So I think this is a good start, and I think they are the big thing that's here now. But we'll have to see what happens this year. I think this year and next year will be particularly exciting. Probably next year more so than this year. I think this year you're going to see more brands like jump into the mix and enter this foray of different designs. But as far as something taking off, I don't think we'll see that for another year. Folding phone will really take off once the economy. Yeah, and that's the thing. They're just too expensive right now for mass adoptability. I mean, you'd have to. I think that you can even finance them for like 3 or 4 years now, which is crazy because they're so expensive. Michael Loki, and instead of the folding BlackBerry, what are your thoughts on the slider? Like, the slider, I think, can work. It just has to be done right. And there was a patent that BlackBerry had years ago, and I would really love to see this. The phone itself had a more boxy approach to it than like the Priv. But see, the problem with the Priv, let me get it. The problem with the Priv is whenever you slid the screen up, the keyboard is recessed. So you've got the bumper here and the screen here, and the keyboard is too small and narrow, and it was too spongy. So it really was not an enjoyable typing experience. I never used it. And then you would have to swipe up to get to it, and it didn't interact well with the top screen when it came to certain features. So I think that a sliding phone can work, but the patent that they had in question, the keyboard here, instead of being recessed, would pop up and it would lock into place and be flush with the screen. And that is what we're going to have to see. For the slider concept to be successful, it needs to be more ergonomic, it needs to be more practical, and it has to be flush with this screen, because this, it's not it. So if they came out with something like that, let's say it had a 6.1 inch screen, and then it slid up a little bit, that keyboard came up and locked into place, I think that would go a long way. I think people would really like that, because instead of having to sacrifice the screen real estate for the keyboard, you get that really good keyboard experience, but then you can get rid of it if you just want to use the touchscreen. So, I mean, in a like realistic philosophical perspective, the slider is the best possible concept. It just needs to be done right, and I don't think that it was done well with the Priv. Let me see. Solve my issue with hitting the capacitive buttons on the key one. Okay, cool. I'm glad you're able to get that to work. And also, Awesome Possum, I saw your message there. Thanks a lot, buddy, for stopping by tonight. Glad you're here as well. I know you're AFK. Albert, a few of the Onward folks were from Sonim Technologies. They make durable, rugged devices. How much do you think that will influence the new BlackBerry? I don't think too much. I think the important thing is, when you look at the landscape, like, rugged phones have kind of gone away. And the best example of the rugged phone was the Active series that Samsung had. It was very good, and a lot of people liked them, but that's not really a big cornerstone on the market. Maybe they could make a rugged version if they want to sell it to, like, military, under government contract stuff. But by and large, I mean, BlackBerries have been pretty durable phones. Like, they're not dainty. it's not like the iPhone or the Samsung phones that are very, very easy to break, especially the displays. The keyboards have typically held up pretty well. So I don't see that being an influence on the design. I think something more sleek and more professional looking, and something they're talking about this phone being something that people are going to want to use like 24/7. It's not one of those ones where I just use it for work. I set it on the counter when I come home and I grab my iPhone. They want it to be everybody can use this phone. It's the most secure phone in the world, and it's your go-to. Like when you want to grab your phone, you want to grab your Blackberry. That's what they're going for. Has Sam, did you order the S21 Ultra? Yes, I did. Mine should be here the 27th, the 28th, or hopefully earlier. And I said earlier, Samsung's really good about sending their phones out earlier. So I'm hoping to get it earlier than that. But as soon as I get it, I'll be doing my unboxing and I'll be playing with it. And UAG is already sending me out a bunch of cases for it. So I'll have those. UAG and Spec are sending me cases to review. Okay, great. I'm glad you're able to get the backlit keyboard to work on your Passport, Michael. On the Key 1, the screen popped off a lot, did not have water resistance. Do you think the new phone will improve on this? I think any phone that has a screen that doesn't pop out of it is a huge improvement. And I think that's an important thing to address. And I've talked about this before, and one of the things that really killed the BlackBerry mobile devices was their quality control. It was poor. I had issues with pretty much every single one of them. My original Key 1, within a week, the screen was falling out of it. My Motion, when I got it, the home button wouldn't work. You would press it and it wouldn't do anything. Or it was stuck. I didn't have any problems with the Key 2 LE other than the finish peeling off because of the case. It would scratch off. You can scratch the finish off on a Key 2 LE with your fingernail. And then when it came to the Key 2 itself, it had issues with the fingerprint sensor and the spacebar, and the spacebar being not so great. So I really think that they've got to hammer down on these things, and they've really got to address that. But here's the thing. Foxconn with them, FIH that's building this phone, I think that we're not going to have issues with that. They're a very, very reliable brand. They're very good at this stuff. My alarm. And I don't think we're going to see those same issues. And people may or may not know this, and I've said this before, Foxconn is the one that designed the Classic, and it was a very, very good phone. The design has held up, the hardware has held up, the keyboard's held up well, so I think that we're going to have a good phone when it comes to this. What is my opinion on the Unihertz Titan, Marcos? I made about 4 or 5 videos on it. I like it for what it is. I think for Unihertz's first stab at a phone, I think they did a really good job. I think that they made a durable platform. As long as they can shore that up and give it a software update. I don't know if it's got Android 10 yet, but it was supposed to. Or we're supposed to get it anyway. I'm not a big fan of the keyboard, but I've always loved the BlackBerry keyboards, so it was going to be a hard sell on that one for me. It was going to have to be really good, and it's good. And if you spend the time and get used to it, it's fine, but I didn't like the screen. It was a little too washed out for me. And the performance-wise, the MediaTek Helio P60, I think that they did a lot of good things with the phone. And they're going to make a Titan 2. And whenever they do that, I think that they'll probably build on some of those successes. So I'm looking forward to see what the next one does. But for the price and the first-generation product, I think they did a good job. James, yes, they did make the Classic. And the Classic, for non-Porsche type devices, the Classic is my favorite BlackBerry. So I'm really looking forward to it, and that's why I hope there's some of that Classic DNA in there. But there's also part of me that would really like to see a aggressive and functional slider to come out of there too. So we'll see. Couple more questions here. Sam Young, given that Android OS for smartphones running a 5G able chip, it'll be 9. Yeah, I expect the new BlackBerry to be running Android 11 straight out of the box. The only reason I could say it could be running Android 10, and I think it'll be a poor decision if they go with Android 10, because Android 11 is being so widely adopted, or at least moving forward it is. I mean, Samsung's already got it, OnePlus has got it, Pixel has got it. So it takes a longer time to secure stuff. So when you have Android 10, they've probably had more time to work on it to make sure that it's secure, because one of the selling points is they want it to be the most secure phone in the world. So typically when you're dealing with security, they're usually a little bit more behind the power curve. So it wouldn't surprise me if it has Android 10. I really want to see Android 11. Luca, did you try the small Pixel 4 at some point? I'm considering getting one. Yeah, I love the original Pixel 4. Fantastic form factor, fantastic phone. Really loved it, but the battery life was just completely atrocious. I couldn't use it. Mine was dying. I was getting 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3.5 hours of screen on time, and it was not enough for me. What about a device like the 5G Astro Slide? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll see something that is kind of new from these guys, but I think at the same time, it's definitely going to be one of those things where it'll have plenty of BlackBerry DNA in it, where you can look at it and go like, yes, that is a BlackBerry. Wow, we've got 97 concurrent viewers right now, which is fantastic, and 56 likes. So yeah, if y'all are here, we can certainly raise that number. So if y'all enjoy the live stream, be sure to hit the like button while you're here, and then of course, if you like this type of content, if you like hearing about BlackBerry, if you like hearing about modern technology stuff, then feel free to hit the subscribe button so you can get notifications when new videos come out. And of course, channel memberships are open, and super chats are also always available. And I'm already over time. I was planning on getting on here for an hour, but I mean, we've got a lot of people in here right now, and it's 11 minutes after being an hour. So if you have any more questions, then go ahead and fire them off down there. I'm not going to sign off quite yet. I've got a little bit more battery left in the camera. But if you'll have any questions or anything that you want me to answer or know about, then feel free to fire something off, and I'll address it. I'm looking forward to getting to 50K one day. That will be nice. And when I started off with this, I remember having conversations with my wife a long time ago, saying, one day I hope I can just get my channel to like 20 or 25,000 subscribers. And this was when I first started off. And it took me like a year and a half to get my first 1,000 subscribers. And then of the next year, I went from 1,000 to 4,200. So my goal for this year was to get to 10,000 subscribers. And I was worried at the beginning of 2020 because things were going downhill really bad. Especially in the world and with YouTube. So I got to the first week of March. I'm like, man, I'm worried I might not make 6,000 or 7,000. This 10,000 goal is looking really lofty right now. And then the channel exploded, and I'm very grateful for that. I was glad that it happened, but yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, I will probably hit 50K in a couple of months, which is cool. I had 8.5 million total views today on the channel, which was another crazy milestone. Michael, I'm sick of Android. I do not like Apple, iOS. Yeah, I wish that there was a more viable third-party or fourth-party platform. Maybe one day BlackBerry will be able to do that, but at this point in time, it looks like they've kind of abandoned that idea. What are my thoughts on the S21 going from 1240 or 1440 to 1080p? I don't like that at all. I really don't like that, because the panel is capable of it, the processor's capable of it, and the only thing that I can think of, the reason they're doing it, like, I understood why they did it when you get 120 hertz refresh rate. They would lower it because it burns up too much battery. It just does. So they lowered it to 1080p to try and maximize the battery life. Now, with them doing that with the S21 and the S21 Plus, it's an arbitrary resolution distinction between them and the Ultra, which makes it less. And the S lineup should not be less. The Ultra is just the bigger, better version. So it's very frustrating to me that they're arbitrarily putting a lower resolution display on there to try and get people to buy the Ultra. That's all I can think about. It's just a cash grab from them, and I don't like it at all. The key is, if you line up 10 Blackberries on the table and can't pick one out, the next one we need to change for them to succeed. Yeah. Congratulations on 40K. Here's many more. Keep the good content coming. I'm hoping for a passport-like device in 2021. But if we get some kind of classic, I won't complain. Yes, thank you very much for the congratulations. I appreciate it. And that's where I'm at. Like, I would like to see something very much like the classic, but bigger. Not quite as wide as the Passport, not quite as tall as the Key 2 series, but that's what I'd like personally. SR Bell 67, am I getting the S21 Ultra? Yes. I've already pre-ordered mine, and it will be here in a couple of weeks. And I was surprised. I thought before, maybe I'm mistaken. I think I expected it to be available sooner after the Unpacked event. I wasn't thinking just over 2 weeks. But I'm just kind of keeping it out of the back of my mind right now, not thinking about it. It'll be here soon enough. I bought the Republic of 3 gaming phone. I like that phone a lot. I really, really want one. And I contacted Asus during CES. I'm like, hey, can I review one of these? They haven't hit me back up yet. I probably won't be getting one, but I'm very interested in it. And I believe that Lenovo has a Legion phone coming out as well at some point in time, which I'm interested in. And I've kind of got a little bit of a brand relationship going on with them, so that would be cool if I can swing that at some point, even if it's just a loaner unit, but we'll see. Upgraded the G7. The G7 was great, and I caught some flack for this, but I actually said that the G7 was my most favorite phone of 2018. I thought that it was a really good phone. I said the G7 was the best phone of 2018. I said the Pixel 4 XL was the best phone of 2019, and I said that the OnePlus 8T was the best phone of 2020. Motorola Razr, Z Flip, or wait for next gen. I would wait. If you can wait, I would wait. The new Z Flip 5G. The new Z Flip I would expect to be announced sometime around March. So the original one came out around March timeframe, and then they did the tech refresh with the upgraded processor in 5G with the Z Flip 5G. And the original Razr was announced, I think, August of 2019. August-September timeframe. And then, of course, it came out and they did their tech refresh on that as well. So I am really kind of expecting a new version of the Z Flip and also the Razr to be announced. My guess would be around Mobile World Congress around March. That's just my guess, so I don't have any inside information. Oh, wow. A V60 for $200? That's one heck of a deal, dude. And the V60 is a fantastic phone. And, going back to talking about the S21 and S21 Plus not having Quad HD Plus. So even MKBHD called the V60 a mid-range phone, mostly because it had a 1080p display and it didn't have a higher refresh rate. So it's very funny to me how you look at other phones and they don't get the same level of criticism. I mean, of course, the Note 20, people really didn't like that phone. It did terrible. But looking at, and nobody called it a mid-tier phone. So I am a big advocate for LG phones because I think they do a lot of good things at a good price. And they've kind of got their operating system, skin stuff under wraps. It's not as bad. The cameras have improved. Of course, it had the quad DAC in it. So there's a lot of good things that LG brings to the table. But $200 for that phone is an absolute steal. So I hope that you enjoy it. Yeah, the G7 is still perfectly fine. I've got a G8, and I love the G8. I thought it was a very, very good phone. It was not received well in the creator market or commercially, but the G8 I thought was a very, very good phone. Need a BlackBerry Classic or Android 11? Yeah, that would be cool. And I would be happy if they made like a $399, like if they just brought back the Classic, put Android on it, and put like a 7 Series Snapdragon processor in it, and sold it for like $400. I think it would sell like hotcakes. I would love it. Let me see. Yeah, your review motivated me to get one. Yeah, I love the V60. It is a great phone. One of the best phones of the year. Beautiful display, beautiful OLED panel on it, great speakers, a consistent 60 hertz frame rate across the board. Like it doesn't dip. It's always consistent, and the cameras are solid too. I really, really enjoyed it. That Blackberry Q5. The Q5 is one of the only ones I never actually had. And I've thought about picking one up. I'm very hesitant now with the idea of not being able to use it on my T-Mobile network at the end of the month. So I'm going to have to test that out. I'm curious. I did fire up my Q10 the other day in my Passport, and when you make a phone call, it says HD voice. And HD voice uses LTE, and it's very similar to voice over LTE. So I'm curious. I'm really curious if they will still work, the BlackBerry 10 devices, once January 31st gets here, because they do support HD voice. So I'm going to have to test it to find out. But that would be really interesting to me if it still does. All phones are too big now. I can't say all phones are too big now, but it's great whenever they have different options available, especially when you look at like the Pixel 4a and you look at like the iPhone 12. All right. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up shop here. I haven't eaten dinner yet, so I need to go grab a bite to eat. It's almost 9 o'clock, and I've got to work on my video. I'm supposed to do a video for tomorrow. I didn't do one today. I took off. I'm really trying to get back. Yeah, HD voice. Yeah, HD voice is on the Passport. It works on the Q10, and I'm hoping. I'm really hoping these phones will still work once January ends on T-Mobile. That would be really great. Wow, Brian, that is late. So we'll see. But yeah, always exciting stuff. It's great that there's an energy, there's a buzz whenever it comes to BlackBerry again. And we'll see what happens moving forward, because we went several years without having any hope. I mean, we sat around for over 2 years after the Key 2 and just waiting, and then it was a real punch in the gut whenever they said they were hanging up the licensing agreement with BlackBerry Mobile and TCL. So yeah, it's great that we have something to look forward to. Whether the phone is a success or not, it'll be good for years. So I'm very happy about that. I'm looking forward to having a new phone. But they're calling it a global flagship phone. They really are looking into making a better camera, a better battery, a better experience. So it's going to be the best BlackBerry yet. And of course it has to be, because it's 3 years newer than the most recent one. But I'm expecting good things, and I think that the market is ripe for a physical keyboard phone again, especially one that's secure with all the things going on in the world. So that's all I've got. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up, and like I said, yeah, if y'all hit the like button on the way out the door, if you had a good time here tonight, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, it's been great hanging out with you guys. JB, no, there's no release date for the new one yet. All we know is the first half of 2021. So we could wake up on Monday and they could have an announcement, or it could be on June 30th. That's their window of opportunity that they've given us. So thank you so much for everybody hanging out here tonight. Lots of fun as always. Thank you for all the congratulations. Thank you for being a part of the channel, the community, coming here every weekend and hanging out and talking about this stuff. And I look forward to seeing y'all next week. Next week will be interesting. I will be out of town Thursday through Sunday. So Sunday night may have to get moved to Monday. Otherwise, I might have to stream on location. So we'll see what happens next time. Next week will be interesting. But y'all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, especially if you got the third day off with tomorrow for Martin Luther King Day. Observe that. Y'all have a wonderful day. And you got the icon pack there. Thanks, Retethered. It's cool seeing those down there. So yeah, that's all I got, guys. Y'all stay safe. Have a good one, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.